Good morning. My name is Erica Baker, and today I'm going to be giving an informative speech called The Smoking Dead. From lacerations and amputations to living with the remains of deceased members of the family, communities around the world have come up with and practiced some unbelievable and seemingly strange cultural traditions. Some of these traditions are seen as taboo, while others are not for the faint of heart. Nonetheless, while death is a common process across countries around the world, societies and cultures respect the deceased members differently, such as members of a small community in Indonesia who share cigarettes with the bodies of their loved ones. I'm going to talk about living with the dead, a tradition practiced by the Toraja people of Indonesia. I'll talk about what this tradition involves, when it began, and how it relates to the religion of these people. For most cultures, death marks the end of a person's time in the physical world. However, for the Toraja people living in the Sulawesi region, one of Indonesia's 17,508 islands, the deceased continue to live with their families after they've passed on. This ritual involves exhuming the corpses of deceased villagers, and those bodies are preserved for up to 12 years. However, the ritual does not end just there. These bodies are wrapped in special garments before they are paraded around the village. This ritual is carried out primarily to clean the deceased, their graves, and garments, and to ritually return them back to the home village for a second funeral celebration called Menini. Ideally, if someone dies outside of his or her village, their bodies will be taken to the spot where they died, then taken back to their home village as an act of coming back home. For weeks or even years, the Torajan people keep the bodies of their loved ones as an important part of the family. During this period, the deceased are offered prayers, food, and given cigarettes as well, hence the name The Smoking Dead. The dead are then buried after the 11th day of the celebrations. The history of this ritual has many critical gaps, though. It is unclear for how long this cultural practice has gone on. Archaeologists have used the carbon dating technique on fragments of Torajan coffins, and the results suggest that the tradition could date back to more than 10 centuries. Most of the literature on the Torajan culture were passed down across generations through word of mouth rather than written word. It is hard to distinguish between truthful accounts of the ritual and touristic versions. However, the tradition has evolved over time, borrowing aspects from different religions and their practices and rituals. The culture of the Toraja people has become overly infused with several Christian traditions compared to the Muslim majority that live in wider Indonesia. Surprisingly, both readings from the Bible and recitations of the Lord's Prayer usually accompany the ceremonial process. This is because about 90% of nearly 500,000 Torajas are actually Christians. According to the film by the National Geographic, a Christian religion service is an integral part of the celebrations and feasting, and is usually done under the after musical tributes. However, the Torajans also remain faithful and loyal to their traditional religion, locally referred to as the Aluk Talado, or simply the Way of the Ancestors. Because of this fusion with Christian services, the duration and levels of attendance make Toraja funerals expensive to hold. Even though the custom of living with the dead can seem a little strange, when you think about it, it shows the love, respect, and admiration that they feel for their dead. The Toraja people exhume the members of their village, clean them in their graves, and then wrap them in special garments. They practice this ritual as a homecoming celebration for their dead. They view death as a long, slow, and sacred process. And even though this and other practices around the world can seem absurd or even unbelievable, the natives believe that these practices have enabled them to learn the essential values and lessons in life. These rituals are part of their heritage and celebrates their identity as a community. Thank you.